Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're in this random parking lot, but you know what? It's for a very good reason. I have this 2021 Lexus GX460. But before we get into this atomic silver SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So Lexus, that premium brand, you know it, of Toyota, has been around since 1989, if you could believe that. This GX460, I know some of you might say, has it been around the same amount of time unchanged? No, you're exaggerating just a tad. Although this GX460 has been the same for the past decade, the past 10 years. Now going into 2021, there are some subtle changes, but still Lexus is sticking to that recipe for people who want a true luxury off-road SUV, because at the end of the day, this GX460 going up against vehicles like the Audi Q7 and the BMW X5, those vehicles cannot even hold a candle to the capabilities when it comes to off-road terrain of this particular Lexus SUV. Now, with that being said, should you be jumping on one of these? Or should you be waiting for a redesign? And is it worth it? Is it worth buying a Lexus GX460? Let's go ahead, dive into our atomic silver and find out. Right off the bat, the color. It fits it perfectly. And what I love about silvers, it really showcases the lines of the body, and definitely this GX460 has a lot of body. Starting up at the front of the business, Lexus does a great job with their unique signature LED lighting. So you're gonna have your multi-LED beam. I like the way there's a little bit of silver splashed in there, but it's their daytime running lamp, their LED daytime running lamp, which is very specific to the brand. Now this one does have the optional headlight washers. It's about a $100 option. I would recommend that, especially if you're gonna be using this for its intended purpose, which is that off-road luxury style driving that some people are really into. Now, as we work our way down, you're gonna have the LED fog lamps. I like the way they kind of drop them in nicely. And you know what? They didn't make this look like a vent or anything. It's just totally smooth, and I'm okay with that. But what I also am super okay about, even though this design has not changed much, I still love the very strong body lines. There's a lot of muscular strength in this vehicle, especially at the front of the business. You can see how you have this nice gun metal metallic gray color on the lower portion, and it really helps differentiate the atomic silver from the rest of that lower trim. Now, as we come across the grille, this particular one has the premium and sport package. And what's great about that, normally when you hear premium or sport package, it just deals with the interior. There's some changes on the exterior. One of those changes is this grille design. Now, of course, it's that wide open mouth, cascading spindle style grille. It's still one of those things that, guess what, to this day, people are still arm wrestling over whether this is attractive or suitable for this vehicle. But you know what? At the front end of our Japanese tank, I think it actually fits it. Very, very powerful. You have more of that gunmetal gray color, which is matching nicely with the lower portion. And then I like, it's not shiny, super shiny chrome, but it's like a brushed aluminum around the perimeter of that whole grille. The lower area is all functional down below, and I like the way there's a nice little lower lip that kind of extends out. But like I said, definitely pure muscle at the front of this GX460. Now, when we get up onto the hood, this is where Lexus really shines. Just like their sister brand Toyota, the fit and finish is just exquisite on this vehicle. Everything lines up perfectly, the hood with the grille. You're gonna have some simple lines, nice rise as you get towards the windshield. Other than that, super clean design. Now, when we come around the bend, guess what? We have some 19-inch wheel fun here. You're gonna have, once again, dark gunmetal gray. I'm glad they went with that color. Nice metallic multi-spoke wheel, 19-inch wheel, and what you're looking at is going to be 265 on the width, and you get a nice meaty 55 series sidewall, large caliper, and those rotors are over 13 inches. They're 13.3 inches. You can see the amount of space we have from the top of the tire inside of the fender. And like I was telling you, when you look at off-road capability, this has 8.1 inches of ground clearance. Your Audi Q7 does not have that. Your Audi Q7 will not be able to go where this thing could go. Very, very strong body lines on the side, especially, I really love the way they flare out that fender. Even though this is a 10-year-old design, it still has these places where you're just like, yeah, I like the way that looks. Color matched on the mirror caps. You have these massive LED turn signals, some shiny chrome on there. I think we could go without, but you know what? It kind of blends in with the rest of it. You do have the integrated running boards, which you know what? For some people, I think will be usable, and it gives it that more rugged look for sure. Something that you're not gonna find those running boards on a BMW X5. Chrome on the door handles. You have bright silver, low roof rails, and then you're just gonna have some shiny metal work on the bottom portion, not the top. And I like that because it doesn't make it look too heavy from the side with all this blingy stuff. As we get to the passenger door, this is where I really like, look at this body line. Comes out of nowhere, very strong, very muscular into that rear fender. Massive rear quarter window. I mean, this glass is larger than probably the glass that they use on the Empire State Building. And you can see how that lower trim just stops perfectly. That's all you need. When you get to the tail end of the business of this Japanese tank, we have a nice low roof spoiler. You're gonna have a totally cleared out third brake light, which I like. And then you'll notice that the rear glass wiper is tucked in. You see how that cleans everything up? On this GX460, you do have the capability of just opening up the glass. Large, massive rear taillights. And then of course, some nice shiny metal chrome work. We drop our way down with that premium and sport package. Guess what? There's another touch. Besides the wheels, besides the grille, you're also gonna get that black exhaust tip, round cut. It blends in nicely. It would be nice, I think, I'm gonna actually zonk it. It would be nice to have another one on the driver's side just to kind of balance it out because of the sheer size of this beast. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see the V8 that's powering our off-road luxury SUV. All right, guys, we got the hood pop. You do have massive hydraulic hood struts. Underneath that hood, you know what? It looks pretty cool. I like the way they have a lot of it covered up with black plastic. If you look at a lot of luxury vehicles, that's what they do to that interior underneath the hood, is they kind of try to encase the whole thing and really clean everything up. But what I'm glad that they did was they went with a bright metallic silver engine cover. It's got the Lexus badge, and I like the overall design into it. The great news is you're still gonna get that unique power plant. It's a 4.6 liter naturally aspirated V8, 301 horsepower, 329 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. 0 to 60, believe it or not, is 7.2 seconds. And that may not seem quick, but for 5,266 pounds, that's definitely on the quick side. MPGs, 15 in the city, 19 on the highway. Towing capability, if you need that off-road ground clearance, but you also need towing capability, 6,500 pounds. And the way that this Lexus does all of its magic is using that kinetic suspension system that Lexus is known for. But while we go ahead, we got a V8 here. Let's go ahead and fire it up and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside the 2021 Lexus GX460. I know if I blindfolded you and put you in this vehicle, you wouldn't know what year it is. The funny thing is, if you were blindfolded, you wouldn't be able to see anything anyway, so I don't know what the point of that is. But I know you're probably asking yourself, well, Joe, I've been thinking about, you know, maybe getting a Lexus, maybe doing some off-roading. Hey, what the heck? I'll wear a tux and drive this luxury off-road SUV at my next truck pulling competition that I enter. How much is it? MSRP for this one, the way that it's optioned, is right at $60,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Now, you're gonna see that same design as previous years, but the great news is that it's soft touch material. I do like that dark silver metallic finish, and the rest of the trim is very, very tasteful. Our particular one, though, has the red leather, and I really am digging the red with the atomic silver. Perfect color combo. You even have that wood style trim that is around the switch gear. It does have a veneer finish, and I do like, though, the design that they put on that wood trim. Makes it almost look like a bowling alley floor in a very, very good way, the lane of a bowling alley. Now, you do have a small door pocket, though, enough for a bottle of Yoo-Hoo, and maybe one hand pie from Hostess, one apple pie, hand pie from Hostess. That's about it. You put any other pies in there, you're going to be getting apple all over your lap, and that's no fun. Now, when you get to the dash, same design that's been around, but the great news is soft touch. There's that wood trim. I'm liking the lines that they put in it. Looks really classy. Loving the leather here with the red stitch work. Looks great. And then you get to the infotainment system. This is probably the sorest spot of the whole package. This is that 8-inch infotainment system. It is the dated style. Now, it is touchscreen. You do have navigation, but here's the big zonk. No Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto, but new for 2021 is Amazon Alexa. So I'm kind of scratching my head on that one. Now, the other zonk is to get into pretty much anything on this infotainment system, you got to use buttons. So if you want climate, you got to hit the climate button. You got to wait a few seconds, and now you're going to use the touch screen to actually control the blower fan speed and all that good stuff. If you want to go back to navigation, you hit the Navi button. If you want to go home, click your heels twice. Hopefully you're wearing your red ruby slippers, but there is our home screen there. Very, very dated. But I guess the good news is you know it's going to work. So it's one of those things. Now let me show you the backup camera. We're going to put the 6-speed into reverse. The great news is it takes up the whole 8 inches. And that's what I'm saying. If you have 8 inches, you're going to want to use 8 inches. There's some people that don't use everything that they've been given, and that's nice to have that on this particular unit. The bad news is no trajectory. So what you see is what you get on this Lexus GX460. Put it back into park. Here's some of those AC controls that are buttons, but as you can see, you only have your off, you have your auto, you do recirculating, the air for the rear, you can adjust your temperature, and it is dual climate, of course. What's interesting though is you get double readouts. So you have a digital readout here like a Casio watch, but then you have a readout up top. So tell your friend with that Bentley that's bragging to you about how much he spent on it, say, hey, do you have 2 digital temp readouts? Because guess what, in your Lexus you do. Work your way down, you have a CD player, so hey, bring out the Beastie Boys, bring out Tag Team, whoop, there it is. Hey, thought you knew, yes, Lexus GX460. You have your radio controls, and what I love about the Lexus switchgear, very, very nice quality touch. I almost want to just twist this all day long just because it feels good. And sometimes it's good just to touch things because they feel good, right? I mean, that's the whole point. You do have heated and ventilated seat controls, which are great, and you're a nice little easy to use kind of thumb wheel. Let me lower that volume. I'm starting to hear Tag Team again. And then time to open up some doors. So you say, open sesame, slide that door open. You're gonna have 2 USBs, an aux jack, a 12 volt, and a weird looking cup holder, or I say turn this into a Skittle tray. This is a perfect Skittle tray, nice, easy access. Look how nice it slides. You're gonna have controls that you just don't see on many SUVs, that 4-wheel drive, 4 high, 4 low. You have your hill descent control, and then this is gonna control that 6-speed automatic. I like the dark gunmetal gray, the leather, the boot looks really great with the red stitching. All flat black, which is nice, no fingerprints. Look, Ma, no fingerprints. Then you're gonna have another piece of some wood trim. Open up this door, you got your 2 cup holders, and the good news is you can get those larger Slurpee containers in there. They're not super small like on other SUVs. Love, like I said, the red material. Semi-soft, I give it a 5, maybe a 6 out of 10. The great news is look, you can slide it forward. So say you wanna be like this, you could do that in your Lexus GX460. Or if you say you want to be like that, or if you just want to be normal, which that's okay sometimes, you can just have it like that. So that's a good touch. The other great news, lifts up, you have your removable felt line tray. So guess what? You could put your emeralds in this little slot over here, rubies and diamonds in the center. They're not going to get scratched. And then you literally could take a glass football and put it in here. And what's nice is you have felt lining. You actually have some felt lining carpet in there that you're not going to scratch your glass football. Why you have a glass football, I have no idea. I'm still trying to figure that out. Seats, like I said, same story. The material's great, the color, perforated, lots of real estate for all body types, and you're going to get obviously full electric assist for the passenger and the driver. And then to top it off, you do get, ooh, almost forgot about that, microfiber suede material. It's like petting a kitty cat. And then you're gonna have your standard size sunroof. I wish that the people in the back could have a little bit of sun, they're looking a little pale, but would be nice to have a panoramic sunroof for $60,000. But at least you have it up here, so you're the lucky one. Come on over here though to the business end. I want to show you behind the wheel of the GX460. All right guys, business time in the GX460. You do have 2 memory seat settings, so that's something to look forward to if you let somebody borrow your Lexus GX460. We have the nice aluminum sill panel down here. Very, very classy. Love those touches. And then of course you have your seat controls that are easy to get to. 10-way adjustable. You got that lower lumbar, which is great. Ooh. It would be nice to have massaging seats. I'll give that a half zunk. At this price point, I'm not so sure. I would have to look at other $60,000 SUVs and see if you get massaging seats, but it would be nice. So we'll half zonk it. What I do love, believe it or not, and I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but I like the mixture of materials on the steering wheel. You have the black, dark wood finish here with the leather. The thickness is spot on the money. And it's just, I don't know, even with the dated horn button, it still is a good looking steering wheel. Flat black on the button, so you don't have to worry about fingerprints. No paddles to worry about. It is electric tilting and telescoping, which is nice. And then the gauges for me, I'm digging them. They're simple, it's clean. Would it be nice to have a little bit larger digital screen? Sure, that's a 4.2-inch digital screen in the center. You do have a cornucopia of information that you could scroll through there, but you do have analog gauges. But analog gauges are super easy to read. And the way that Lexus has done these, they look very classy and high quality. But while we go ahead, let's get to the mid-row. Yes, there are 3 rows in this SUV. Let's get to the mid-row and see if your passengers are going to enjoy as you're going off-road and they're dressed in their Sunday best. All right, guys, mid-row in the GX460, and I'm telling you right now, for this size of vehicle, there's some really good space. You can see how they have the material, that nice soft material all the way around, even this black portion. Good size on the back of the seat pockets. Some brands really don't do these pockets justice. I like the way there's no net or anything like that. So you could put a book on off-roading. You could put a book on just about anything in these pockets. You could even put the dictionary and have your kids learn some new words because they're only learning probably the bad ones from you. But anyways, coming to the center stack, you do have your rear AC, which is great. Love the way it's easy to access. That old school digital style going on. You do have heated seats, but no ventilated seats. So that's gonna be a zonk at $60,000. The great news is Lexus did remember that your kids and people in the back seat do have electronic devices, and you do have 2 USBs down there, so that's good news. And a safety kit, which is nice. And what's funny is that it actually Velcros to the carpet, so you could actually put it wherever you want. The funny thing is as a kid, if we ever complained about being in pain, my dad would say, stop complaining or I'm gonna give you something to complain about or to cry about. So it's nice to see that Lexus cares about your passengers, maybe more than my dad did when I was a kid. But sitting back here, feels good. Plenty of headroom. Remember, I'm 6 feet tall. I had plenty of headroom up front, plenty of headroom back here. AC vents up top. It would be nice to have them also in the frame as well, but you got a nice grab handle here. Let me simulate what it would be like going off-roading. So your passenger could really hold on well. The great news is, yeah, that feels good. It's got a nice sliding seat. Does it recline? You better bet your bottom dollar. And look at this. But then we do the captain's chair armrest test, a little on the dinky side. So I am gonna zonk this. I wish they were just a little beefier. This thing is so beefy and strong, but these captain's chair armrests are just a little weak. But the good news is you can just flip them right out of the way. But why don't we go ahead, I'm gonna sit back up, because no slouching on the job. I'm gonna sit back up here. Why don't we get to that 3rd row and see if it's even humanly capable for somebody to fit back. All right guys, time to get into that 3rd row. I did move the seat forward. You have a nice little landing area for your feet so that you're not ripping up the carpet, but we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna try to use this running board here and get on in. Ugh. So I'm getting back here, and the great news is, being 6 feet tall, I'm quite surprised. I still got plenty of headroom. Leg room is not too bad. I did move the seat up a little bit, but of course my knees are up just a little higher than I like. But the crazy thing is, even for somebody as large as I am, to fit back here and be pretty comfortable, you do have cup holders, which are great. You actually have a little, at least I have it, they don't have it on their side, but I have a little spot for a Twinkie here. Lori needs to show that off. Nice little Twinkie area. Just slide it right on in there. But other than that, after I mess up the carpet, that's the one thing. This carpet has got to go. This little floor mat's kind of annoying. Look at this. It's like, what is this? It looks kind of, I'm not even going to go there. We'll just put that over there. But anyways, why don't we go ahead, let's get to the cargo area and see what you could haul in this GX460. All right, guys, time to show off some of the more uniqueness of this GX460. Let me show you a couple things before we even get to the cargo area. Right off the bat, what's great about this particular SUV, you push this button here, like I told you, you take your index finger, nice lift up. What I love about this is when you're at the grocery store and you don't need to, you know, bring up the whole back or open up the door, you just drop them in there. Say your kids forgot their shin guards at soccer practice, you can get to it real easy, and then look, closes. Now the other feature here is super unique, but I don't know if it's gonna be a good thing. You actually open up the rear tailgate like a door. Now the only challenge I see to this setup is being in a parallel parking situation. If you were parallel parking, as you can see the additional length here, that's gonna be a problem. Or also, depending on where you're parked, I don't wanna be bringing things in and out on the street side. I wanna be on the sidewalk side so somebody doesn't run me over. So that's another thing, but it is very unique and it does give you tons of access to the back area, so we gotta give it to them. Now, I did leave the third row up and I'm not even gonna go there. I'm gonna have Lori kind of zoom in because there's not enough room for both her and I there. You're barely looking at around 11 cubic feet of space with that third row up. Not very usable, but the good news is if you don't need this third row, watch how much space we're gonna open up. So it's a two-step process. There's no electric motors and I'm okay with that. You're just gonna pull up on the tab, those massive headrests drop down, and now, look at that. It's like I've been doing that for years. Put those seats down. Lori's gonna show off how much cubic feet space that we have now. You're looking at 46.7 cubic feet of space. You put that mid-row down, that's where you're gonna bang them out at 64.7 cubic feet of space. Now I know what you're saying, Joe. You've mentioned the Q7, you mentioned the BMW X5. Is this the same amount as their space? No. That's where this comes out on the short end of the stick, is there's not as much room to the interior of the cargo area compared to the competition, but I do love the height. I mean, if you have a mountain bike, you don't even need to get a mountain bike rack up top. You just put that mountain bike back here, real easy, 1, 2, 3. The only other thing that I have a major zonk on, and it actually happened to us while we had possession of this vehicle, I wish that they would put some kind of lip here. I went to the grocery store and guess what? The spaghetti sauce rolled out of the bag. Spaghetti sauce all over the floor, and for an Italian, that's just sacrilegious. So that is one major zonk, to not have a lip. But you know what? We closed the door. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go get some more tomato sauce and make ourselves a nice meal. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle. All right, guys, we're in the 2021 Lexus GX460. Right away, sitting behind the wheel, you have a commanding view of the road. Nice wide A-pillars, gives you good visibility. And if you've been in a GX460, this is gonna be a very familiar place because, like I said, mostly unchanged for 10 solid years. Now, driving on the road, feels comfy, seats are supportive without being too firm, and they're not like squishy like a lazy boy chair that's in your grandmother's house. Going over the bumps, soaks everything up, solid like a piece of steel from a Japanese plant where they produce steel. That's what this GX460 feels like. And of course, you're gonna get that rugged off-road capability that the competition simply does not have. Now, what you do get in the GX460 that competition does have that you're not getting in this vehicle is the upgraded technology. So infotainment system, it is easy to get to. It is a touch screen. You do have navigation and all that good stuff. It's just very dated. I think somebody had pointed out not too long ago, wouldn't it be nice if they took the Toyota 4Runner setup, the updated setup that they have in their infotainment, and brought it into here? At least it would give you Apple CarPlay and whatnot. You do get Amazon Alexa though. Getting to the AC controls makes sense. It's just like I said, if you want to do anything specifically more in depth than raise or lower the temp, you're gonna have to hit climate. You have to wait a few seconds, then you could get into the system, and then you would have to hit navigation again. But driving down the road, very rock stable, very quiet in here. And that's another thing, that when it comes to the sound deadening material, the thickness of the glass, it's very, very serene inside this massive SUV. Finishes everywhere you touch. I'm loving the leather on the steering wheel. They have such a high quality of leather. I just want to thank the cows that sacrificed their lives for the leather inside this Lexus, because it feels really, really good. And then let's do a little bit of on throttle, because guess what? We have naturally aspirated V8 power. So I'm going to slow down here. It's probably going to look awkward to some people, but if they know Rady's Rise, they know what's about to take place here. So on throttle, here we go. Yeah. You got a nice V8 rumble. The nose points towards the sky, and you are off and running, of course, with that 4x4 all-wheel drive, getting the power to the ground. All right, guys, the moment we all waited for, we're getting out onto the highway. On throttle, here we go. Time to merge. I'm telling you, surprisingly, for such a large, heavy vehicle, that naturally aspirated V8 engine really gets you up to speed fairly quickly. And we're not talking about 400 horsepower. We're talking about a little over 300 horsepower, but going down the road, very smooth. Obviously gonna soak up all the bumps, all the dips, all the manhole covers and everything else, soaks it up very well. You're not getting a lot of glare, which is good news, because you know this wood finish has a veneer on it. Thankfully, not too much glare. You have the sunroof capability, which allows you to bring in some of that vitamin D from the heavens, but holds its lane very well. And I think that's one of the things that I really enjoy about the GX460, is that it's big, but it doesn't feel so big. So if you're not used to a little bit larger SUV, I think you're gonna really like the way it feels as you're behind the wheel. Linear power delivery, you're not waiting for turbo boost, or there's no hybrid technology. It's just good old-fashioned V8 power, which is wonderful. All right, guys, it's been one heck of a day with this big, supersized Lexus GX460. I definitely got to thank Zach and the rest of the crew over at Toyota USA and Lexus USA for allowing Rady's Ride to access to this press fleet vehicle. It's just one of those things. You know what? If you are looking for something that's going to be more capable than anything else in its class when it comes to off-road, this GX460 checks off so many boxes. And I know that some people are not really loving the direction of some of the newer technology. Well, guess what? You have the little older technology, but I think that's going to be the sore spot in this whole big puzzle when it comes to, should you be buying one of these GX460 SUVs. But if you want to keep seeing large and in charge SUVs that pretty much do it all, leave a comment in that comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the queen of the camera. She's out here working it like a champ, getting this thing from every single angle. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.